Welcome back. Today, we're tearing down the anatomy of the perfect AI prompt, and we've got a really fantastic explainer lined up for you. Be honest for a second. How often are you using AI like just a glorified search engine? We've all been there, right? Typing in some quick, basic sentence just to find a recipe or get it to write a polite, somewhat stiff corporate email. But today, we're going to deconstruct a true masterclass in prompt engineering. We're looking at a single, highly structured prompt designed to take a standard, incredibly boring document and completely transform it into a viral, 60-second social media script. If you've ever wondered why some AI outputs are incredibly sharp and natural, while others fall flat and sound like a dusty old 90s textbook, the secret is entirely in the architecture. So, let's get into it so you can learn how to architect your own requests for maximum impact.
Okay, let's look at how this source immediately commands a specific persona. The prompt literally starts with exactly these words: act as a professional social media content creator. Think about the weight of that command for a second. It doesn't just ask for a script, it assigns a high-level job title. This is the ultimate hook for setting the AI's baseline behavior. Because if you just ask an AI to write a summary, its default setting is basically a friendly but boring robot. It just wants to give you safe, generalized information. But by defining the role as a professional social media content creator, the prompter instantly filters out academic language, robotic phrasing, and overly long explanations. You are effectively giving the system a specific brain and a specific set of professional instincts right out of the gate.
All right, moving on to Section 1, the transformation, looking at the prompt framework.
This perfectly illustrates the massive transformation we're talking about. We're taking an input that is traditionally dry and academic, an internship report, and demanding an output that's a highly engaging Facebook Reel script, specifically localized in Bangla. If you've ever had to read through a 50-page internship report, you know the absolute pain. They're highly technical, incredibly dense, and, let's be honest, practically guaranteed to put you to sleep. On the flip side, we're requesting localized, bite-sized, thumb-stopping entertainment. It's a total medium shift. Explicitly stating this extreme contrast tells the AI exactly how far it needs to stretch the source material. It instantly knows it has to completely abandon the original formatting to succeed at the task.
So, the crucial point here is that by strictly defining the target audience right after the task, the prompt ensures the AI tailors its vocabulary and emotional appeal. If you don't define the audience, the AI is just going to guess. By explicitly stating university students and fresh graduates, the AI immediately knows it doesn't need to explain basic university concepts, but crucially, it also knows it shouldn't use overly corporate jargon. Imagine using stiff boardroom phrases like, "We need to synergize our cross-platform deliverables" to try and motivate a 22-year-old fresh graduate. Complete disaster, right? Instead, this constraint perfectly calibrates the script to speak directly, authentically, and energetically to young academics who are eagerly looking at their own futures.
Next up is Section 2, Audience and Style, where we define our constraints. Notice how these four style pillars, fast-paced, storytelling, motivational, and professional, guarantee a really dynamic narrative. The final output isn't just going to be a bulleted summary of the report. Why do these specific words matter so much? Well, because if you want a fast-paced output, you have to actively demand it. Otherwise, the AI will default to long compound sentences. By locking in these four pillars, the AI will literally structure shorter sentences, utilize punchy active verbs, and lean into an inspiring tone. It completely avoids that slow, dragging lecture vibe and gives the AI the emotional boundaries it needs to be genuinely creative.
That brings us to Section 3, the 60-second structure, achieving perfect pacing.
By providing exact second-by-second timestamps, this prompt forces the AI to perfectly pace the narrative. You aren't just vaguely saying, hey, make it short. You're giving it the literal anatomy of a viral reel. Think about how incredibly specific this is. A 5-second hook to immediately stop the scroll. A 10-second problem or challenge to build tension. 25 seconds for the actual meat of the internship experience. 10 seconds for the key takeaway. Right down to the final 10 seconds for a strong call to action. This mathematical precision completely eliminates the risk of the AI rambling for 40 seconds on the introduction alone, which, let's be real, is a very common trap. It is a masterful, foolproof way to ensure the generated script actually translates to a tight, perfectly timed 1-minute recording in the real world.
Finally, let's look at Section 4, the deliverables, mapping out the exact outputs.
Why stop at just the dialogue script? By detailing these specific outputs, from scene descriptions all the way to background music, the prompt ensures you receive a fully fleshed out, ready-to-produce production slate. It completely eliminates any guesswork for the final creator. You're effectively asking the AI to act not just as your writer, but as your director and your video editor simultaneously. You get the voiceover, sure, but you also get exactly what the camera should see, what the B-roll footage should be, the exact text popping up for the captions, and even the emotional vibe of the background music. It takes the output from a simple text document and elevates it to a complete actionable video production guide, an absolute game changer.
Let's wrap up this explainer with Section 5, the final takeaway on transforming text.
Could your next standard, boring document be transformed into a viral reel using this exact structural framework? Seriously, think about the mundane documents, the weekly reports, the long emails, or the corporate memos sitting on your desk right now. Ask yourself how applying this exact layering of persona, style constraints, specific timelines, and multi-step deliverables could completely change how your audience engages with your information. When you stop treating AI like a simple search engine and start treating it like a highly directed creative professional, the quality of your output scales exponentially. So what boring document are you going to transform first?